I know that in only the last few days there has been great news, as you see it, in relation to greyhounds.
Hmm.
For the benefit of any of our listeners, Nuala, who don't know what the news is, can you tell them what is this news and how happy you are with it?
Yeah, greyhound racing has been banned in Wales and Scotland. It was banned in Scotland yesterday and in Wales the day before. It was banned in Tasmania, in Australia and New Zealand last year, and it was banned in Mexico the year before. So it is, I think it's an indication of just where we're going in relation to greyhound racing. I just don't think public opinion supports it anymore. So we're very, very, very happy with these bans.
Okay, and in terms of yourselves and Greyhound Action Ireland, Nuala, going forward, can you tell me or tell our listeners if this news from Wales and Scotland will be of long-term encouragement and to yourselves? And can you tell me if do you think there is a likelihood that racing in Ireland will be banned or government funding cut off in the short to
Mm.
medium term?
Yeah, we don't need a ban in Ireland if it wasn't supported from the public purse to the tune of about 20 million a year. It wouldn't survive. It couldn't survive. It doesn't enjoy anything in the way of public support anymore. So, in fact, we don't need a ban here. We just need some government to do the right thing and stop public funding of greyhound racing. I mean, the statistics are really horrendous when we look at the number of dogs that are being killed. 2021 births, we've been following them. 7,449 dogs born in 2021 remain on the island of Ireland. Of that number of dogs, 70%, over 5,000 of those dogs are already dead or unaccounted for, and the oldest dog there would be 5. They're referred to in the industry as wastage. Dogs no longer of use, no longer able to run fast enough. In the last 2 years, 2024, 25, 399 dogs killed on tracks. That's 7% of all dogs put out to race on greyhound tracks in Ireland dead before the end of the race in the last 2 years. So this is why it's being banned in other countries, because it is just not acceptable that any dog would be treated in this fashion simply to generate betting content, because that's what greyhound racing is for. It's the stadia around this country are practically empty when you take out the people who have to be there who are involved. Um, and this government and, previous governments are not in step with public opinion. Every opinion poll done on this in the last number of years has shown the great majority of Irish people wants funding to stop. But I mean, there are a number of very well connected TDs in all of the main political parties, and some of them are directly involved in greyhound racing, and so that's the power they hold, and they are dictating policy within their respective parties.
I follow a few animal welfare organisations on social media, and occasionally I do see kind of reports saying that there's some kind of a race night in greyhound racing tracks, like for maybe I don't know a school, but for different
Mm,
organisations. Like so
mm.
that does happen occasionally,
Mm.
doesn't it?
Oh, it does. It does. Yeah, to a much lesser extent now than before 2019, when the RTE Primetime Investigates exposed what was going on in greyhound racing. But there are still organisations, regrettably, who do not seem to have a problem with raising funds on the back of cruelty to dogs. It's as simple as that. I can't put it any other way. And we would appeal, and we have ongoing campaigns where we are appealing to organisations to, there must be a million other ways to raise funds, that are needed. And some of these I have seen online are primary schools who are trying to raise funds to keep their schools going and what they need. And you have the government on one hand giving 20 million euro of taxpayers' money every year to greyhound racing, and you have schools, something as basic and necessary as schools, having to raise funds at dog tracks. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. And you know yourself, Darren, you turn on the radio every day in the week in this country. You hear people on there who are being directly impacted by underfunded public services. And yet somehow we can find 20 million every year. The government now is saying they can't help people out with the fuel crisis, and they can't because they need the money to come in, the taxes. And yet they can find 20 million every year to hand to greyhound racing. So even if people who are listening to this don't have a problem with the cruelty aspect of it, they should have a problem with the way public funds are being misused. Because every cent that's given to greyhound racing is a cent that's not spent on essential services.